All right, so here's step two. So I'm going to go over, I literally wrote stuff down because, yeah, I'm just anal like that. So I'm going to do brow glue and brow pencil. So I'm going to use this NYX brow glue Crazy Lift. You can use whatever glue that you want, of course, whatever works for you. I'm just showing you like what I do. It doesn't mean that you have to do it. I just figured I would take the time to do a step by step. So I'm taking the glue and I'm brushing upwards. So I'm just kind of coating the lashes. Not, oh my God, the lashes. Coating the brows. I wish my brows had as much hair as my lashes do, and my lashes are pretty sparse, so that's saying something. So I'm brushing these brows upward, like so. You don't need to use like a whole gob of brow glue. So once you see it come to the surface, if you use like a tube like this, just go ahead and distribute that on both brows. So that way you're not using too much glue, because it's going to do what it's supposed to do. If you have a good brow glue, that will work. And you don't always have to use brow glue. I'm seriously contemplating, like, once I use this up, I just want my brows to be, flexible and bare and everything. So we'll see how it goes. So I've got the brow glue on. Of course, I have more hair here than I do here, so I always have to like build it up. So I'm going to take my brow, well, it's the spoolie at the end of the brow pencil, and I'm just kind of refining the brows a little bit, making sure I get the hair brushed up to where I need it to be. And then I like to take this spoolie and drag at the top to kind of make it straight. See how it kind of created a line? And then put it at an angle and brush downward. So it created the front part, you have the arch, and then the end. So brush the hair up on the other side and do the same thing. Even though I don't have as much hair there, I'm still going to drag at the top, put this at an angle, and drag down, kind of create a shape. It's not perfect, but that's what I do. So I'm going to take the brow pencil, and I like to start, under the brow. And you want the inner part of your brow to line up with the inner corner, and then the arch is going to line up right here over the pupil, and then the outermost part of your brow will line up with the outer corner of the eye. So that's your point. So you have middle, or inner, middle, outer. That's how the face will be shaped. So I'm going to lightly map out these brows. And again, you can use any brow pencil that you prefer. If you are on a serious budget and you don't have a whole lot of money, you can always go to places like, Amazon. I know on Amazon, like for the last several years, to be honest, there's these brow pencils by this off brand called Bechy, Bechy, and you can get three brow pencils for $6.99. And I hope it's still that price because I have so many brow pencils to go through. I haven't had to buy more. And now that I'm like saying it to you guys, I'm like, ooh, I should just go ahead and stock up because, I have Amazon Prime, and then, within 2 days or so, depending on if it's like a holiday weekend or whatever, it may be a little delayed, which I can understand because, they need a break too. Um, it's here in 2 days, it's quick, it's, free shipping. You don't have to worry about waiting on it. And I've discovered that those brow pencils work pretty well. And they're micro brow pencils. Retractable micro brow pencils. It's so nice. Okay, so there's one brow. Just natural and filling it in. If you like the way this looks, this is by Milani. And of course, like I said, at the end of all these videos, once they post and everything, I'll tag the brands that I used and all that. Well, actually, like I already tagged the brands that I plan on using for this entire look in the previous video, or not the previous video, but the one before that, I think. I'm still tired, forgive me. So now that I did one side of the brow, if you see like it's got a little tail in there, you can just take this spoolie and just kind of straighten and erase to make it a little bit more even. So now I'm going to try to get this side to match the other side, and that can always be a little bit tricky, but take your time with it and use a kind of light, delicate hand as you're filling in your brows. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but this is what I do. Sometimes I have to take this spoolie and kind of straighten it up a little bit more. And then after I do the bottom portion, I'm looking straight into the mirror. I'm going to create the top line of the brow and trying to match it up to the other side. Some people like to connect the brows all the way together and then wipe it off afterwards. And I'm lazy. All right, I am very lazy. I like to just kind of do it and get it over with and not have to do a whole lot of extra steps. That's why, I pride myself in doing just regular basic makeup that I figure everyone can do. And it does take practice. I still go on YouTube and, whenever I have time to breathe and, not fall asleep randomly in the middle of the day like a toddler. I go on YouTube and find out, what works and this and that. And it's by people that are around my age. They have this flawless makeup and they're like, okay, here's what works, here's what doesn't for, whatever age you are. So, I watch different people on there. Um, sometimes it's nice to be able to see people that are around your age group create makeup because as we get older, our skin does change. It's not going to be amazing every single time the older that we get. So sometimes it's not really our skill. It's all about what kind of makeup we use and understanding what our skin type is, what makes our skin glow better. If you have sensitive skin, you have to figure out what works for you. Sometimes it'll work for like a month and then you got to change it up. And some things it's like, oh man, this has been working for me consistently for a couple years. I'm going to stick with it. So it's definitely a journey, an adjustment, and an investment. All right. So this video was long. I understand. I tried to talk through it so it wasn't too boring. But there's the brows. Just like that. I love brow pencils. They're so versatile. It's so much easier. And I mean, I don't mind using pomade. I still have a couple pomades by two separate brands, but I just absolutely love brow pencils. Like I feel like I can teach it to you guys easier. It goes a lot faster because with brow pencils, you want to use something like, I know I got it up here somewhere. Something like this. It has a spoolie at the end and like a soft small angle here, and it just takes a little bit more finessing. So if you want to do something quick and easy that's easy to follow, go with a brow pencil. And my God, if you find the right color or the right brand, stick to it. And I can almost guarantee that it won't fail you. And when I say I love micro brow pencils, I ain't playing. I've got a backup for the backup, and each backup has three backups. So, but anyway, this is the end of the video, and then I will see you at the next one for the next step.